$1.14 trillion. That is how much Americans collectively owe on their credit cards. Right now. Not mortgages. Not student loans. Credit cards, the most expensive, most predatory, most aggressively compounding form of consumer debt that exists. And here is the part that really stings. The average credit card interest rate in America right now is sitting above 22%. Some cards, 29, 30. I've seen 34.9% on retail store cards. That is not an interest rate. That is financial quicksand. So if you're watching this and you've got $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 or more sitting on your credit cards, and every month you're making minimum payments and watching that balance barely move, or worse, watching it grow, I need you to stay right here, because today we're going to break down, step by step, exactly how you build a real plan to get out from under this thing. Not some motivational fluff. Not just stop buying lattes. An actual strategy based on math, based on how these systems work, and based on what real people have done to dig themselves out. I don't care if you're 22 and just started racking up debt, or you're 55 and it has been following you for decades. The mechanics are the same. The escape routes are the same. And nobody is too far gone. Before we talk about any payoff strategy, you need to understand what you're actually fighting. Because credit card debt is not like other debt. It doesn't behave the same way. And the credit card companies have spent billions of dollars engineering a system designed to keep you in it as long as humanly possible. Here is what I mean. Let's say you've got a $10,000 balance on a card with a 24% AP, and let's say your minimum payment is 2% of the balance. So that is $200 a month. Sounds manageable, right? $200, you can handle that if you only pay that minimum, and the minimum drops as your balance drops, which is how most cards work. Do you know how long it takes to pay off that $10,000? Over 30 years, you will be paying on that balance for more than 3 decades. And the total amount you will have paid, over $34,000. You borrowed 10. You paid back 34. That extra $24,000 went straight into the credit card company's pocket. That is not an accident. That is the business model. The minimum payment is not designed to help you pay off your debt. It is designed to keep you servicing your debt. There is a massive difference. When you make the minimum payment, the vast majority of that money goes to interest. A tiny sliver touches the principal. And then next month, interest is calculated on that barely reduced principal. And the cycle repeats. This is the compounding effect, working against you. We always talk about compound interest as this magical wealth-building force. And it is, when it is working in your favor. When it is working against you, it is absolutely devastating. And the credit card companies know this. That is why they'll increase your credit limit without you even asking. That is why they send you balance transfer offers with teaser rates. That is why your minimum payment is set so low. Every single feature of the credit card system is optimized to maximize the amount of interest you pay over time. So step 1 of getting out, and this is not a tactical step. This is a mindset step, is understanding that the system is not on your side. The system is designed for you to stay in debt. Every decision you make from here on out has to be intentional, because the default path leads nowhere good. Alright, now let's get practical. And I'll be honest with you, this next part is the one most people skip, and it is the reason most people fail. You need to do a full, honest, no BS audit of your debt. And I mean all of it. Every card, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment. You need to pull it all together in one place, where you can see the full picture. Here is what I want you to do. Open a spreadsheet, grab a piece of paper, use a notes app on your phone. I don't care what tool you use, but write down these 4 things for every single credit card you have. The name of the card, the current balance, the interest rate, the APR, and the minimum monthly payment. Now, a lot of people resist this step, and I get it. When you're deep in debt, the last thing you want to do is stare at the actual numbers. There is a real psychological weight to it. But here is the thing. You can't navigate out of a situation you refuse to look at clearly. You wouldn't try to drive somewhere without knowing where you're starting from. Same principle. And when you lay it all out, you might be surprised. Some people think they owe $15,000, and it turns out to be $22,000. Some people forgot about a store card with a small balance, but a 30% rate that has been quietly compounding for 2 years. Some people discover they're paying 4 different minimum payments that add up to $600 or $700 a month, and they didn't even realize how much cash was going out the door just to tread water. Once you have this list, you need to add one more number: your total monthly income after taxes. What actually hits your bank account each month. And then, your total essential expenses: rent or mortgage, utilities, food, transportation, insurance. The things that are non-negotiable. What is left after you subtract essentials from income? That number, that gap, is your debt-fighting budget. That is what you have to work with. And being honest about that number is critical, because it determines which strategy makes sense for you. Now, let me address something here. Some of you are going to do this math and realize the gap is tiny. Maybe it is $50. Maybe it is $100. Maybe it is actually negative, meaning you're going further into debt every single month just to survive. If that is you, don't panic. We're going to talk about options for that situation too, but you need to know where you stand. I also want to point something out that a lot of financial content glosses over. If you are in a situation where your income genuinely does not cover your basic expenses plus your minimum payments, that is not a discipline problem. That is a structural income problem or a structural expense problem, and no amount of budgeting tricks will fix it. In that case, you may need to look at increasing income, reducing housing costs, or exploring debt relief options that go beyond what we'll talk about today. Things like nonprofit credit counseling, debt management plans, or in extreme cases, bankruptcy protection. And there is no shame in any of those paths. They exist for a reason. But for the majority of people watching this, people who are making enough to cover their basics, but are stuck in this cycle of minimum payments and growing balances, what comes next is where the real strategy kicks in. Okay, so you've got your list. You've got your numbers. Now it is time to pick your attack plan. And there are really 2 primary approaches that work. You've probably heard of both of them, but I want to go deeper than the surface-level explanation, because the details matter. Strategy 1. The debt avalanche. This is the mathematically optimal approach. Here is how it works. You take all your credit cards and you order them by interest rate, highest rate at the top, lowest rate at the bottom. You continue making minimum payments on every card, but any extra money you have, that gap we calculated, all of it goes toward the card with the highest interest rate. Once that top card is paid off, you take the entire amount you were paying on it, the minimum plus the extra, and roll it into the next highest rate card, and so on, down the list. The reason this is mathematically superior is straightforward. The highest interest rate is costing you the most money per dollar of balance per month. Every dollar you throw at that high-rate card saves you more in future interest than if you'd put it toward a lower-rate card. Over the full payoff period, the Avalanche method will save you the most money and get you out of debt in the shortest time. Period. The math doesn't lie. Strategy 2. The debt snowball. This one was popularized by Dave Ramsey, and it takes a completely different approach. Instead of ordering by interest rate, you order your debts by balance. Smallest balance at the top, largest at the bottom. Everything else works the same, minimums on all cards. Extra money thrown at the top of the list. Now, mathematically, this is almost always less efficient than the Avalanche. You'll typically pay more in total interest and it'll take a bit longer, so why would anyone use it? Psychology. The snowball method gives you quick wins. If your smallest balance is $800, and you can throw $300 extra at it each month, you're wiping that card out in under 3 months. That card is gone, you cut it up, you close the account, whatever you want to do. It is done. And that feeling? That momentum? For a lot of people, it is the difference between sticking with the plan and giving up in month 4. And here is my honest take on this. I know the internet loves to debate Avalanche versus Snowball like it is some kind of religion. But here is the reality. The best strategy is the one you actually follow through on. If you are a very numbers-driven, disciplined person who can stay motivated even when progress feels slow, the Avalanche will save you money. Use it. But if you know yourself, and you know you need to see results fast to stay in the game, the Snowball is not a bad choice. It is not wrong. It is a behavioral tool, and behavior matters more than optimization when we're talking about a plan that might take 2, 3, 5 years to complete. Some people even do a hybrid approach. They start with the Snowball, to knock out one or two small balances for momentum. Then switch to the Avalanche for the remaining larger, higher-rate debts. That is a perfectly valid move. Let me give you a real example to put some numbers on this. Say you've got 3 cards. Card A, $2,000 balance, 28% AP. Card B, $7,000 balance, 22% AP. Card C, $4,000 balance, 18% AP. Total debt, $13,000. And let's say you've got $400 a month beyond minimums to throw at debt. Under the Avalanche, you'd attack card of first, highest rate. Under the Snowball, you'd also attack card of first, smallest balance. In this case, they happen to align. But once card A is gone, the Avalanche says, go to card B, next 22%. The Snowball says, go to card C, 4,000, is less than 7,000. If you run the numbers, the Avalanche saves you somewhere in the range of $300 to $500 in interest over the life of the payoff. Depending on the minimum payment structures, not life-changing, but not nothing, either. The Snowball gets you that second win faster. Card C is gone sooner, which feels great. Either way, with $400 in extra payments, you're looking at roughly 2 to 2.5 years to be completely debt-free on that $13,000. That is a real achievable timeline. That is not some fantasy. That is just math and consistency. Now, beyond just picking a strategy, there are specific moves you can make that will speed this whole thing up. And some of these, frankly, a lot of people don't know about or don't take advantage of. Balance, transfer cards. If you have decent credit, and yes, you can have decent credit even with significant debt. Because credit scores are weird like that. You may qualify for a 0% introductory AP balance transfer card. These typically offer 0% for 12 to 21 months on transferred balances, with a transfer fee of 3 to 5%. Let's think about what that means. If you transfer $5,000 to a 0% card with a 3% fee, you pay $150 upfront. But if that $5,000 was sitting at 24%, you were paying roughly $100 a month in interest alone. So in less than 2 months, the transfer fee has paid for itself. And every dollar you pay for the remaining intro period goes straight to principal. This can be a powerful tool. But, and this is important, it is a tool, not a solution. If you transfer a balance and then run the original card back up, you've doubled your problem. If the intro period ends and you haven't paid off the transferred balance, the rate jumps to the regular AP, which is often 20% or higher. You have to go in with a plan to pay off the transferred amount within the 0% window, and you have to not use the freed up credit as an excuse to spend more. Calling your card issuers. This is the one nobody wants to do, but it works more often than you'd think. Call the number on the back of your card. Tell them you're a longtime customer. You've been carrying a balance, and you'd like to request a lower interest rate. Some people report getting 2, 3, even 5 percentage points knocked off just by asking. Worst case, they say no and you hang up. It costs you nothing but 10 minutes. If you're behind on payments or already in hardship, ask specifically about hardship programs. Most major issuers, Chase, Capital One, CD, Discover, Bank of America, have formal hardship programs that can temporarily reduce your rate, lower your minimum payment, or waive late fees. They don't advertise these. You have to ask. Automating your payments. Once you've decided on your strategy, set up automatic payments. Not just minimums, automate your extra payments too. The reason is simple: willpower is a depreciating asset. You're motivated right now, watching this video. You'll be motivated for a week, maybe 2. But 3 months from now, when it is a Friday night, and your balance has only dropped by a few $100s, the temptation to skip the extra payment and spend that money instead is very real. Automation removes the decision from the equation. The money moves before you have a chance to rationalize spending it. Finding the extra money. I know. Just find extra money sounds like the most unhelpful advice in the world. But hear me out. Most people, when they do an honest audit of their spending, and I mean line by line through their bank statements, find at least $100 to $200 a month in spending they didn't realize was happening. Subscriptions they forgot about. Eating out more than they thought. Impulse purchases on Amazon at 11 p.m. Insurance they haven't shopped in 3 years. I'm not saying you need to live like a monk. I'm saying that when you're in a debt emergency, and if you're paying 20-something% interest, it is an emergency. Every dollar you redirect toward that debt is a dollar that stops generating interest against you. Even an extra $50 a month can shave months off your payoff timeline. And on the income side, I know side hustle culture gets mocked a lot, and sometimes rightfully so, but temporarily increasing your income, even by a few $100s a month, can be transformative when you're in payoff mode. Freelancing, overtime, selling things you don't use, picking up seasonal work. It doesn't have to be permanent, it just has to last long enough to give your payoff plan some rocket fuel. Alright. I need to talk about the things that derail people. Because knowing the strategy is one thing. Avoiding the pitfalls is another. Trap number 1. Debt consolidation loans that don't actually help. Debt consolidation can be a smart move. You take out a single personal loan at a lower rate and use it to pay off all your cards. One payment, lower interest, clear payoff date. In theory, great. In practice, it only works if you stop using the cards. I cannot tell you how many people consolidate their credit card debt into a personal loan, and then, within 18 months, have run the cards back up to the same balances. Now they have the personal loan and the credit card debt. They've literally doubled what they owe. If you consolidate, cut the cards, freeze them, put them in a drawer, remove them from your online accounts. Whatever you need to do to break the access loop. Trap number 2, paying off debt with your emergency fund and then having an emergency. You should have at least a small cash buffer, even $1,000, before you go into aggressive debt payoff mode. I know. It feels counterintuitive. I know that $1,000 sitting in savings earning 4% while you've got debt at 24%. Looks like it is losing you money. And technically, it is. But if your car breaks down, or you get a medical bill, and you have nothing in savings, where does that expense go? Right back on the credit card. And you're worse off than before, plus demoralized. The small emergency fund isn't about optimization. It is about preventing backslide. Trap number 3. Ignoring the emotional and behavioral side. Debt is not just a math problem. If it were, nobody would be in debt, because the math is simple. Spend less than you earn. But we're human beings. We spend for emotional reasons. We spend to cope with stress, to feel in control, to keep up with people around us, to deal with boredom. If you don't address why you got into debt, the plan will eventually fail because the behavior that created the debt will reassert itself. I'm not saying you need therapy, though honestly, if you have access to it, talking to someone about your relationship with money is one of the highest return investments you can make. I'm saying you need to be honest with yourself about your spending triggers and build systems that protect you from them. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Use cash for discretionary spending, so you physically feel the money leaving. Set a 24-hour rule for any purchase over $50. These aren't hacks, they're guardrails. Trap number 4. Giving up because it is taking too long. This is the big one. Paying off significant credit card debt takes time, real time, months, usually years. And there will be periods where it feels like you're making no progress. Where an unexpected expense sets you back. Where you slip up and spend money you shouldn't have. That does not mean the plan failed. It means you're human. Adjust and keep going. The people who successfully get out of debt are not the ones who execute a perfect plan. They're the ones who keep going after an imperfect one. Let me leave you with this. The credit card companies are not losing sleep over your balance. They have built an entire industry around the assumption that you will carry debt for years, pay multiples of what you borrowed, and never get ahead. That is how they make money, that is the game. But here is what they can't account for. Someone who decides they're done playing that game. Someone who sits down, looks at the real numbers, picks a strategy, and starts executing. Not perfectly, not overnight, but consistently, month after month. With the understanding that every payment above the minimum is a step closer to freedom. $1.14 trillion. That is the collective number. But your number, your 5,000, your 15,000, your 40,000, that is the one that matters. And it is the one you can actually do something about. You don't need to figure it all out tonight. You just need to start. Pull up your statements, write down the numbers, pick your strategy, Avalanche or Snowball. It doesn't matter as long as you pick one. Automate it. And then show up next month and do it again. That is how this gets done, 1 month at a time until the balance says 0. I'll see you in the next one.